I was born with a speech impediment. I have a cleft palate. I was told at age 29 that I have a 3rd degree cleft palate. However, when I was a youngster, I was teased, heckled, because they called me Nosy Parker, because I spoke as though I had a bad cold. So when I was, before my 13th birthday, I think it was, my parents gave me a tape recorder. And what I thought when I opened the box, I thought, great, I would finally be able to hear what other people hear. Because I was, it was confusing. Everyone, they heckled me really badly. I don't know if you know the word heckle in this space, but they teased me a lot. They laughed at me, so I was very shy about speaking and in public, and So I went under my bed and I taped myself with this new gift I received from my parents, and I was horrified. I could not understand anything that I said. They used to call me Nosy Parker, Nosegay, Snuff Snuff. Those were the heckles that I got. So, but a minute passed. I said, okay, let me play it again. I said, perhaps I didn't speak clearly, so I spoke more slowly and deliberately. Played it again, still terrible. So I studied it. I discovered that I pronounced my B's like M's and D's like N's. So I spent the next, I don't know how many weeks, months, perhaps even years. I do not remember how long I did it, but I practiced, speaking more clearly, taping myself by emphasizing the way I pronounce those particular problem letters. When I was 29, I noticed that people stopped teasing me and calling me names, but I thought it was that they just got accustomed to how I spoke. And so when I was living in Miami, I had a throat infection, and the doctors the primary care sent me to an ENT doctor. And when I opened my mouth, he exclaimed, he said, "Oh my goodness, you are from the third world," he said. And of course I was very irritated by the characterization, but nonetheless, I told him where I was from. He said, "You will never see this in the United States, yada, 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 because we will fix it at birth." And I was born in Curacao, and I could have fixed it, but my father was afraid that I would die. So he didn't. But he said to me, "But you speak clearly." And I said, "I do?" He said, "Yes, you speak, so you must have had speech therapy." I said, "No, I did nothing." And it was on that day, at age 29, that I realized that what I was doing at age 12 was giving myself speech thyrope. Now, that experience, I think, ties into what we are doing. We started by talking about loving yourself as your neighbor, or loving your neighbor as you love yourself. I believe that the individual has a lot of agency. That lesson, that I could have done one of two things. I could have not spoken. I could have chosen not to speak, which is a thing, but I didn't. I decided, let me try to fix it. So today, as we speak about this, I know it pales in comparison to the efforts needed to right the wrong that has been done to various groups of people, but especially to Black people in this country and across the globe, and different countries, not just Black people, but we are dealing with June. We are celebrating Juneteenth. we must dig deep in ourselves. That was the lesson that I learned, that you can do it. If you set your mind, you can. It's not enough. We need a community. We need governments. We need the state to put laws in place to protect us. We need all the parts. But what we know, and what I knew, what I embodied from my own experience, is that I am going to do what I can do to lift myself up. And so everywhere I see injustice, I mean, I get angry and I go after it. But I also do it with me. What can I do? And so today I speak clearly, I give speeches every day, and no one would have thought in a million years that I could have done that, because I could not be understood when I spoke. And I still have a big gaping hole at the back of my throat. It's a 3rd-degree cleft palate. I was fortunate not to have the cleft lip, so but I do have a big hole at the back of my throat. So that and a book. I think you said a book or a thing, and the book that I have loved and I've distributed literally hundreds. As a man thinketh, so is he. Love thy neighbor as you love yourself. As a man thinketh about himself, about his world, so will he be.